Marcus Rashford has become a distraction and needs to leave in January. Ex-Manchester United right back Gary Neville saying Rashford is probably headed out the door and sooner rather than later. What do you make of this statement? Do you agree with Gary? Do you think it's more bluster from the United legend?
I mean, I definitely think he's become a distraction. I definitely think there is a air of truth to what Carragher was on about a couple of days ago about how, like, given the quality of this player, he gets a lot more airtime than he probably deserves. And I think at this point, United needs fewer distractions. United on its own is a walking, talking distraction. We're such a huge club that there's always going to be a decent amount of nonsense that just pours out of our ears as a consequence of that. But like Marcus Rashford and having players who are being frozen out by the new manager, right? A lot of this is coming after the fact that Ruben Amorim left him out of another matchday squad against Bournemouth on the weekend. And then at this point, it would make sense to move him in January. But the problem is January is not a great time to do business compared to the summer. Not a lot of big buyers around. This is already a player where there's not a lot of buyers around. There's very few buyers compared to like a couple years ago where money was flowing a lot more easily, especially in the Middle East. So I think it does need to happen, but I can't see it happening in January, given that this is like a specialized transfer. This is not like trying to, dole a Lindelof. It's like there's very, very few buyers of Marcus Rashford because those wages are sky high. So what are your thoughts? Any chance that Rashford moves on from United in January? Is that even possible? No way, right?
Well, I also think the fact that he might leave in January is going to be determined by a few extra items that have come out related to the interview. So what happened before the derby is Amorim did kind of call out Garnacho and Rashford, and apparently like the rumor, like it's just a rumor, but the Garnacho rumor was like his brother was like leaking the lineups for like 25 pounds or something or something stupid like that. So which means it's probably not true at all. I don't know why Rashford was initially dropped, but the whole idea is like you drop these guys who probably aren't listening and you try to get a reaction, right? That would be the idea. But Rashford called in sick Monday after the derby, missed training, and then that interview dropped Tuesday.
Yep.
So instead of being dropped and getting the hint from the new guy and like battling back for his position, like we have seen Garnacho do, which I want to say is a positive of this, right? 2 players were dropped. Garnacho was out of line as well. And then Rashford has handled it very poorly. So he decided to call in sick and then give an interview that he's leaving. Now, that context is important for the January timing because that says to me he's gone. And I also want to make a point that him having that interview on Tuesday is a huge deal. Like Ronaldo did the Piers Morgan interview, which has way more sleaze because like Piers Morgan and Rashford went to Harry Winter. But if you recall, that was during the World Cup break, right? It was like a 6-week break during the season.
Right before, yeah.
So it's like it was like the season ended. Everyone's out of the club. He did the interview. Rashford's doing the interview after a big win. Like 2 days later, mid-season, it's kind of unprecedented from a United perspective, and it's going to get an unprecedented result, which is out the door in January. Again, also dropped against Bournemouth. I just think all signs are pointing to see you later. Now, is it going to solve United's problems? No. But is Rashford kind of acting and throwing his toys out the prim? He is. And so I think he's going to be gone, mainly because if you're calling in sick and then you're dropping these interviews, like it's not a good look.
No, you just can't have players doing like unsanctioned interviews where they're like dogging on either whatever his long-term prospects at the club, the manager, or the club itself. So it's not good for nobody. He's basically like gone out there and said, "Hey, I want out." Made that very, very clear. But at the end of the day, this is a challenging transfer to execute because of his wages and because he's not the same player he was a few years back. So I think it's gonna be hard for us to dish him, especially in January. All of a sudden, we're going to be doing like a
sell
chaos
him at cut rate.
Exactly. I understand.
The whole idea is the drama that I'm talking about means United is going to cut bait for a low cost.
Even lower than we initially thought. Yeah, that 40 is probably
15.
going to it might be 20.
20.
Yeah,
like,
it might be like
18 plus add-ons. It's going to be like nothing. But at the end of the day, it's better to get him out of the club making $400,000 a week, not playing.
It's a shame. It's ending this way, but it's sad.
$400,000.
No, you gotta figure that out.
$400,000. You gotta be like, hey, anyone want to pay this guy $400,000?
Fucking Jim is like cutting bonuses, 100 pounds to 40 pounds. Like this guy's making $400,000 a week.
Tell me we're doomed without telling me we're doomed. We're going to Malaysia to pay for Marcus Rashford's wages.
Half his wages.
That's like there's got to be a lot. There's gonna be a lot more bloodletting out of this club before we're on the right direction. But shout out to Amorim for holding the bluffers accountable. And I'm actually glad that Garnacho got in line. That's a good sign. I think Rashford, he's fighting ghosts. That's the best way to describe it. He's dating some reality. Do you see
matter.
that?
That's
no,
fine.
but he's like dating some reality TV star and like going to Belfast. Sir, come on. If you're boy, you'd be like, hey man, like
He's not doing good.
He's not doing good.
He's clearly not
what I'm
surrounded by
saying.
people who are giving him great advice, and that's a shame, and it sucks.
Marcus Rashford, you need an agent. Call me up. The American Red Devils represent you. Get you top dollar. Alex will fly to
First of
Saudi.
all,
Get you.
It somehow worked
get
out for
you in the
Harry
door.
Kane. You should not hire your sibling as an agent. Hire an actual agent.
Well, sir, that's another podcast. But look, let us know what you think about Marcus in the comments. Is he going in January? How much? Cut rate sale. And we'll see you in the next video.